If you still think that what Peter Obi and Datti Baba Ahmed achieved with the Obi Datti ticket 2023 can be achievable in 2027, then you are a joker. That's lack of better words. I could say that. Okay, so I made a video a couple of days ago where I strayed or where I spoke about a proposed alliance of the opposition parties in Nigeria to forming a merger to trying to unseat the ruling Progressives Congress and the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government in 2027. While the aim of that video was solely to remind us that expectations of the VP's office, just in case this merger work, and then I hear that the permutations are that Peter Obi may have to deputize for Atiku Abubakar, let's not expect so much. Looking at scenarios and the last 3 administrations, it is almost now clear that a VP is inconsequential in the political and administrative equation of any government, right? That was the aim. However, a few of you took it personal and then went emotional and then went on to start to say it's not workable, blah, blah, blah. While I agree to a lot of these dynamics, the truth is two persons of different ideologies put together just because to solving a political equation would not automatically turn to dividends of democracy or turning the fortunes of the countries around. So that's established. However, if anybody still think that it will be Datti ticket 2023 can do any match or do equal to what they have even done in 2027, they were a joker. Let me say this at this point and get this into the context. The truth of the matter is that Peter Obi and Obi Datti ticket, the capital wasn't young people. The capital of that, when I mean capital, I'm talking about the baseline support that they received in that election wasn't young people as widely spread. Wasn't Southeasterners, wasn't South. There were 2 variables that were the strength of that election, that particular campaign. First was the need for Nigerians to request him for a breath of fresh air, so to speak. Then secondly was the renewed hope in our electoral system being unmanipulative, transparent. That's why we keep hearing free, fair, and credible elections. And with the advent of IREV and BVAS, Nigerians trusted the electoral process because, of course, we are not ignorant of the devices of the political class to usurping the will of the people and overriding the interest and throwing away the vote of the people. It has happened in several elections. Right? So that particular election, INEC continually sang. INEC continually, all stakeholders, the reason why we had Nigerians going to register for vote. Imagine somebody of 67 years. What does the person know? How many elections has happened? These guys have lost hope. So yes, Peter Obi came as a breath of fresh air. The second reason was that there was a renewed perception that looked like we are going to have the freest, the first, and the most credible elections ever in the history of this country. Now, that did not work. If you look at this government deliberately and intentionally, you see that they are trying to remind you that it's going to be worse in 2027. Let me tell you how bad it is at the moment. Now, of all the things we have heard, we are hearing so much about reform, agricultural reforms, petroleum reforms, oil reforms, economic reforms, tax reforms. Have you ever heard about electoral reforms? In fact, looking back at the judicial process for after that was post-election, you realize that there became an urgent need for us to look back at our electoral processes. First and foremost, sack the current INEC chairman, Yakub Mahmood. He has no reason being INEC chairman. After superintending one of the worst elections in the history of this country, he should have resigned or been sacked. That has not happened. And the reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not sack him is so that it should send a message to you and I that in this election, forget it. In this election, forget it. And I talk to you, every other off-cycle election that has happened has been a testament, has been an icing on that cake to remind you that we are in charge. We are in charge. And we are in charge. Because there were several other variables, several other things that happened in the election that were shocker. For example, we trusted, even the PDP, not blame them. They trusted that the RF was supposed to be the joker, the beef was supposed to be the morale booster. But all that became shenanigans, including the court, saying that INEC reserved the right of collating and transmitting results the way they like. That RF was not a collation center. It was only a place for people to go and view, a portal for people to view. But it doesn't change anything. Whatever happened on IRL would not influence or reflect or implicate anything generally. So why will we trust in the process to say technology has come to help it? So that's established. Now look at again the intentional move of this government. I was telling a friend a couple of days ago. Do you know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu can use just anything, maybe a trust fund, maybe a supporting, maybe another agency, maybe the NJC, to do what he's doing for judges in Abuja at the moment, building houses. There has been increment of their salaries and wages to over 135%. And now he's using Wiki to build houses for them. As I talk to you now, it's been alleged that lands have been taken away from people who had bought it, suppressing the municipal council authority with the FCTA or the Federal Capital Territory Administration, just to be able to make these lands available for the houses to be built for judges. And when a sitting government that has an election ahead, looking at the antecedent of what has happened before, is doing that, they are telling you, forget it. It is a dare in our face. And guess what? What that would imply is that there will be reduced. As I talk to you now, go to the comment section of every post. With the last elections that have happened, if you look at Kogi, for example, let's even leave to Edo. If I say you guys say I'm emotional, look at Kogi. Upon investigation, in short, when Supreme Court gave that judgment, the APC guys were so scared because they were scared. When the judgment came, they couldn't hold it. They had to start throwing bottles and stones at the STB candidate. That's to tell you how much. In fact, it was said that Usman Ododo had lost complete hope in the process because they know how that election was manipulated. Go and ask an ordinary Kogi. Forget the APC guys that are. Let me say it. Yeah, I'm trying to be as sane as possible. Wherever, ask an average Kogi and ask them what happened in the election. You'll be surprised. So these elections are dead. So when I look at opposition parties trying to prove a point based on anything in these elections, I'm laughing because it is the will of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to remove the political capital of the opposition, which is free and credible elections. And who benefit from voter party? Go do your analysis. Voter party, for example, a situation where people lose interest in elections and do not go out to vote. Who benefits? Who benefit? Because now look at it, there are two ways that the ruling party will benefit of voter party. Number one is that because of course they buy vote. So when there are voter party, the few persons that come out to vote, there is it reduces the monetization of the voting. So they spend less. So why don't they want to invest in voter party? They will do anything. It is a strategy to invest in voter party. Number two, the second is they have a chance to manipulate it easily. So we have it. The last election, what did they have voter party? In fact, it is on record that there was a surge of over 10 million new voters of various ages, from 18 to as high as 80, even 90 in some places, right, to go and vote for the first time. Yet, we had a magnificent, surprising, shocking reduction in the number of total votes as against what has happened in 2019, that people did not even trust the election. So you see, these manipulations that happen. And then when I hear people talk about the elections were free and fair, and I ask, we forgot so easily that on the day of the election, the House of Rep and Senate had free flow traffic into the area. There was transmission, but the presidential election had glitched that today. No forensic expert have been able to explain to us. And then this has continued. So you see, the voting capital, the electoral value of Peter Obi is reducing, not because of his personality, not because of what he has said or what he has not said. Not in short, with his tactical moves in the last few months of trying to gain the trust of the North, which of course is not there. No matter what you say, just newbies and Gen Zs and a few areas that in the North that they could believe an Igbo man should be president, for example. But the man has been getting en route into this environment. However, it is still not enough because the strength of the ruling party is the fact that they have the electoral empire and the judiciary in their hands. So now, if you think that ticket is going to do magic, we are joking. Make do with this information the way you want to. I am not saying that there should be an alignment, there should be an alliance. Of course, when it gets tough, some of us, beyond the spectrum of social media and all of this that we do a lot of political permutation calculations. And if need be, we can make possible suggestions and counsels, but do not think that what happened in 2023 would happen in 2027. That information, make do with it the way you want to make do. I'm out of here.